Today is Wednesday, January the 27th, 2021. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am your host. This is the show where we share inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. Today it is my honor to be introducing to all of you, and we will, I know without a doubt, today in this hour make the case for our newest service hero, Midori Verity. Someone that I met a little while ago, a few days ago, wink, wink, back pre-COVID when we could go places and we could meet people face to face. And we did. It was an exciting, fun time. And we were just talking about it. It was a time where you're going to be hearing today about someone that has a message, someone that is making a difference, someone that is serving. And also, when we find our way, when we find what that magic purpose is in our personal life, then we can do that much more for others in our attitude of gratitude and serving those that we are meant to serve. And that's exactly what Midori was doing when I met her. And so, Midori, I want to say welcome to the Service Hero Show. So glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here with you and see what you're up to. And I love that you have been so in alignment with your message. And now you have a show that spreads it even further. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of this.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And that means a lot to me. And guys, you're going to understand this a little bit more because let's do this. We're going to go over, and I'm actually going to read something here because I think that it's really important to understand that Midori helps driven professionals break through the mental challenges that have slowed them down and unlock their potential. And then it goes on. Now, see that right there, that is huge. And then we're going to break it down in how you're doing that. Yet, before we do, I want to bring in someone to say hello.
Hey everybody, hi, this is Harrison Klein. I just want to give a quick shout out to two of my favorite female peeps on this planet, Midori Verity and my favorite Tamara Hunter. All right, so you guys are going to have some great fun. Midori has been a wonderful, energetic, kind of fun person in my life for at least a short time. And, we've shared some money type stuff. We've shared a whole bunch of experiences. And she's a beautiful, beautiful person and has a lot to give, a lot to offer in terms of intellect, a lot to offer in terms of just vivaciousness. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate Tamara. Tamara's awesome, awesome, awesome. So, beautiful people, go out there and knock them live, because you can, because you do, because you will. All that. You guys out there, this is Harrison Klein. Have a great, great, great show today. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Harrison, I love that you did that. What a welcome surprise. I love that.
Well, I want to recognize those that are here right now. And yes, thank you for checking Carol Brown-Berzins, one of our senior ambassadors of the buddies that we support, Humo Buddies for Life, CB4L.org. And she is also the production assistant for this show. Thank you for making sure we are live on the E360 TV platform. For those that do not know, E360 TV platform is a network that then streams on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, all of the different web TV platforms. Look for E360 TV live and download it everywhere so you can catch this show live and others on the network You'll be glad you did. And Daniela, in fact, two of our newer hosts for the show, we've got Daniela Roman, who is a service hero, and her husband, Emilio. They are two of our newer hosts for the E360 TV platform. So glad to have you here. Victor Orlando. Yes, if you guys don't know, Victor Orlando, musician extraordinaire. In fact, the percussionist to the stars. We are supporting Victor and helping him to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark on his YouTube channel. So you guys, please help us do that. Victor Orlando 1. Victor Orlando 1. And he's got new, cool music out on the radio and on the radio waves. So let's help our buddy, Victor Orlando, be the star that he is. So glad to have everyone here with us. So, Midori, talk about shows. You have a show, and I'm curious, Mock's Life. What is Mock's?
What is it all about?
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of wondering.
Right. And it's a good question. With the Mock's Life, what it's all about is about a lifestyle. And it's about an elevated lifestyle that's exciting, it's sexy, it's in alignment with who you are and what your core values are and your passions and your, what I call the zone of genius, where you're naturally gifted. So aligning all of those, and you create what we call the Mock's Life. So on the Mock's Life show, what we do is we bring in experts ranging from someone who won the Shark Tank. And I have another woman who has done 2 big movie productions. She's a movie producer and was in charge of the Napa Valley Wine Festival. I'm sorry, the Napa Valley Film Festival for, I think, 11 years, for a long time. But we have people from all different walks of life, and we bring them on to bring value to the audience, which primarily are entrepreneurs and business leaders, to help give them tools and to help them think bigger. So, with what you're doing, Tamara, you have taken a passion that you have. Obviously it's very important to your core heart and to who you are. And you have really elevated it to a much higher level. That's what we try to do with these other business people who have an important message, who have an important product, who have something that is of value to the world, and helping them think much bigger and then taking stretchier chances to achieve these. And so that's what the Mock's Life is all about.
I love that. I want to recognize also another service hero that is here. Glad that you stopped by, Jonte Hall. And for those that don't know, Jonte was a Harlem Globetrotter for many, many years, and one of the shortest ones. I think he actually was the shortest one ever. Unbelievable skills. Guys, amazing story, Jonte Hall. Okay, so the Mock's Life. What I'm hearing is we can have it all. Really, I think of that commercial way back in the day where, can you have it all? Can you have the frying pan, the mom's life, the this, the that, and have a balanced, if you will, life. And so many people, I love the way you said stretch. So many people are feeling not only stretched, they're almost like, okay, I'm almost being stretched to a point of breaking. And guys, we have another clip. So let's watch this, and then we're going to continue this thought.
Welcome back to another episode of the Mock's Life Show, where we help you develop a new mindset so that you can have easier success and prosperity. And on today's show, we have an incredible woman. Her name is Shannon Shores, and she has created this company. It's called WellX, and it's all about STD testing, but what we're going to be talking about is how she got her company onto the Inc. 5000 while raising 2 kids. So we're going to be talking about mommy guilt and how she dealt with it and still created this massively successful company. And then we are going to be talking with Ed Troxel, biz techologist. We don't know exactly what he's going to be talking about yet. It's a surprise. But before we get to all this excitement, we have our Mox Life Mindset Tip of the Day. So let's get going. All right, today's Mox Life Mindset Tip of the Day. This is something that I've done in a previous episode, but whenever I come up with something that is bigger and better that made a big difference for myself and for my clients, I truly want to share it with you. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm kind of taking us to the next level. So what this is about, we are talking about being aware of what our stories are that we're playing in our head, what we are saying that is holding us back. This is huge when it comes to mindset and having a tool that helps us recognize beliefs, patterns, behaviors that are really stalling us or getting in our way is huge. And so that's what I'm going to be working on today with you. And this is just a quick little sentence that helps you uncover issues. So let's go through this. So what I want you to think about is something that you have wanted to do, something that you've wanted to be, a business that you want, anything that you've wanted to do for a long period of time, but for whatever reason or for several reasons, you haven't. So you're going to say, I'd love to blank. I'd love to start a business. I would love to get into management at my company. I would love to write a book. Anything like that you've been thinking about. And then the next part is, but I'm resisting because blank. So I want you, the resisting is big. What I want you to think about is when you're thinking of this big thing that you really want to do, that maybe you've talked to somebody about or you've been dreaming about for a long time, think about why is it that you haven't pulled the trigger? Why haven't you gone for that job promotion? Why haven't you started writing that book? What is your body resisting? So the theme of this show is mommy guilt. So for instance, it could be that you haven't asked for that promotion because you're worried that it will take up time from your kids. So therefore, you're going to have mommy guilt. And what's really going on, this is big, you want to ask yourself, okay, what is it that I'm worried about with mommy guilt? Am I worried that people are going to look down on me? Am I worried that my kids are going to come out totally whacked because I'm not there? What is it? Write it down. And then the next step is, and this is a game changer, go in, take whatever it is that you wrote and write your solution. So if it's mommy guilt, write down, okay, so I'm going to agree that from now on, every Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to be home at 5 o'clock. I'm not going to answer phones. I'm not going to do any work. And I'm going to be 100% focused on my kids. Those are our family nights. We're going to play a game. I'm going to make a beautiful dinner. We're all going to sit down. Or I'm going to decide, maybe you're worried about their homework. They're getting to that age where grades start mattering. Mattering, is that a word? Start to matter. And so in your head, you can say, if I start to see my kids' grades slip or they're struggling or I see them stressed out, I'm going to change my times. I'm going to start going to work a lot earlier. I'm going to hire someone to, or make some kind of deal with another parent to come get my kids in the morning, get them to school, and I'm going to come home and be here when they get home from school so I can help them with their homework. See the shift? You're solving your problems instead of allowing it to hold you hostage and making you feel resistant to whatever it is. Because for every problem, there's a solution.
I had to play that whole thing because, you know, you hit the nail on the head for myself when I had younger kids. Oh my goodness, the mommy guilt thing. I think there's so many people that is a huge piece. And right now, more than ever, with the fact that many, if you will, mommies are having to, you know, take care of the finances, are having to become the teacher now,
Mhm.
are having to work from home, find the space to work from home, find the space to have school from home, find the, place to be able to play or whatever it may be. And I'm thinking, wow, when I looked at, truthfully, I watched a lot of the segments that you have, and they're great, the little previews and everything that you've got going on with your show. And I was so interested in, this woman that had this business that was able to get up onto the Inc. 5000 and everything. And then you go into mommy guilt. And I'm like, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
I get it. Important. Right?
I think it's in what the message was that I wanted to get out, because so many times we have these things that seem monumental, monumental problems. Being a parent is a monumental concern, right? We want our kids to come out successful and happy and not having to go seek lots of therapy because we were not present, right? We have all these different things. But when we reframe the way that we're thinking, and start looking for possibilities and start looking for solutions, it can be the biggest game changer. But often we get stuck in just staying focused on what the problem is. And that's what stalls us. That's the part that makes us feel like we can't have it all. That's the part that makes us feel like it's called limiting beliefs.
Right.
And when we start getting into the practice of finding solutions instead of thinking of getting stuck on all the limiting beliefs, that's where the gold is.
I love that. That's why I went through, and I knew it was a little longer clip, yet I really wanted, and I love the entrance, the intro to your show.
Thank you.
Fun, really cool and hip and everything. And your set and just the whole look and feel of it. Yet when you get into that whiteboard discussion and the tip, and I'm thinking, we all need these, if nothing else, we need the education or the reminder or whatever it may be. And it always seems that nugget shows up when we need it most. And you're talking from experience because, I love this picture.
Oh,
I love this.
How did you find all this stuff? It's amazing. Oh my gosh, I did not expect any of this. So this is all a surprise.
Well, it's a show to honor you and to tell your story, an inspiring story to inspire others. And, with your story, there's so much backstory. And the fact that I do, we have known each other for a while, even though we maybe haven't been able to connect as much as we want, especially lately, yet still, there's those people that you just love, and you're one of them. And so this is a big part of your story is, you're talking, we're in the show, that particular show, and we're just talking about the momming, guilt, and then learning what limiting beliefs really are and how we can get beyond them and how we can change that self-talk, how we can really figure out what we want, break through what we need to break through, and and do what we want to love to do. Mm-hmm. And get over whatever is that we're resisting, whatever's in us that we're having as that breaks, right? Well, I love this. And then, so then, it's so cute, right? Okay. Because this is a big, I love this picture. Cute. Because here you have, you're putting it out there. You're a family person, and that's your son. Whoa.
All grown up. I think where you're going with this, Tamara, is, the first picture that you showed with my husband when we were very, very young. I think we were around 27-ish right there. And we had just launched a business at that time, our very first business. And we had just bought, or were about to buy a house. We didn't buy it yet at that point, 3 months later. And we had a lot going on. And, we didn't know what the heck we were doing. I had never even had siblings. And so it was crazy. My mom passed away 3 months after Nicholas, the baby that you saw, was born. And I was kind of like, holy good God, what do I do now? I have this house and I have this business and I have this husband and I have this baby who, he was very demanding. And I thought I was losing my mind. And it was a tough time. But one thing that has always been important to me is I love business. That's one thing that I found is I really love that. And I wanted to have a lifestyle that allowed me to go to their games, to allow us to go on vacation, to allow us to form a bond with our family that was close and where we really loved each other, but where we had fun. Some of those pictures that you showed was us having fun. And that was a huge core value for me. And so thankfully, we hit enough buttons right. There were many that we didn't, but there were enough buttons that we hit right that it worked. But through that, I did go through about 10 years into our business through a deep depression. And I have a feeling, Tamara, you must have read about that, showing what you were showing. And it was tough. It was really tough. I woke up and I felt like I didn't want to get out of bed. Nobody knew. I kept a happy face in front of my kids. My husband knew that I was a little bitchier than normal. He didn't fully understand.
And let me just bring this picture up because here you've written a book, Secrets to a Kick-Ass Marriage. A guide to living your dream life. So this is a core value. And so, all right, so you're wake up, you're a little different than normal. Let's just say wink, wink.
Let's be honest. And so anyway, but at that point, I was working about 50 hours a week on my business. I was trying to be a super mom. I was trying to keep my house spotless. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid, some of the things I was doing, but I didn't know any different. I didn't know. I just thought I had to power through this and make it through. I also hated the business that we had. And that was the key. So, that was kind of the thing that it knocked me to my knees, but that was also the positive in that I started to get tired of myself being depressed and I started searching for answers. And that's what brought me to what I do now. And I learned, this was a pivotal point as I met a gentleman at a business event that I went to, and he started talking to me about this thing called neuroplasticity. And I did more research into it. And what I learned was, oh my gosh, I have complete control of my life. I have control of how I choose to react. I have control of how I want to think and the direction that my life is going to go. And that was the light bulb moment where everything in my world changed because all of a sudden I got back my power. And that's what I help people do with like the clip that you showed earlier, where I'm like, all you have to do is state what it is that's causing you the problems. And these are easy, simple changes that can make a dramatic difference in your life.
And I love too that you boil it down so that you can actually take, if you will, the baby steps. And because when we start to understand, sometimes we make like, oh, I'm waking up, I'm so depressed, I don't like the business, I don't like this yet. Look what it's doing. It's providing this lifestyle and it's providing the fun. It's and so and we can allow it to get so big sometimes. And yet when someone can put it into bite-sized pieces where we can understand, okay, baby steps. I can take one sentence, I can fill in 2 blanks, and I can do that, and that will possibly help me to then be able to figure out what do I want, and then our brains, our bodies. I love the way you say that too. You mentioned the body resisting that, because our bodies will talk to us, are we in alignment with what we really want to be doing, our core values and everything? And when we're not, then oftentimes that's when things like disease or, depression or any of these other yucky things start to share their little heads and show up. And then we're thinking, oh, how do I take care of this? And you are making it very bite sizable, and there's a bit of an echo on my side. I don't know what to do about that right now, and sorry for any kind of sound issues we may be having, guys. We're just going to power through. And so I love it when I was researching even that much more, and something you said kind of I thought, okay, yeah, totally there. And that is no time like now. No time like now, like, that you like things, you like to get things done. You like to do it now, that whole get it done now. So we're at the beginning of a new year, and we've been doing an intention product, find an intentional word. And what is that word? Really own that word, own it, and then go forward with it. And right now we are in a unique period of time. You were talking with Carol. Carol's in Canada. You're in Northern California. I'm in Southern California. And we're talking about states or countries being closed. Unprecedented for our period of time, yet an opportunity, right? For us to say, okay, what is it that I want? And how am I going to go about achieving that? I'd love to go there now with you, because that's what you really have helped many, many, many people to break through and have the successes that they now are currently enjoying.
Yeah, it's really simple. All this stuff is very, very simple, and it's just being introduced to it. So one thing that I have all my clients do, and this is where you start, and you can actually go on my website, I have a blog post that's about this, but create a personal mission statement. And what that is, it includes 3 main things in there. The first one is your core values. We've talked about it already on this show. What's most important to you? What is something that you protect? One way that you can tell is arguments that you get in with your spouse over your kids. That's a core value because you're protecting it. That's like this thing that's so important to you. But also think of, like what makes your heart sing? What has made your heart sing over the years? Getting clear on that. And then number 2 is also your zone of genius. Where are you naturally talented? You want to make sure that's in alignment, especially if you're thinking of business. Do not go after something that you are not good at unless you have someone to support you. You have Carol here that supports you with the show, so you can concentrate on your zone of genius and staying there. That's a huge key for people in business and in leadership. And then the third part is, what do you want? What are you passionate about? What are your motivators? Get clear on those 3 items. Put it into one sentence that describes your life. And then what you do with that sentence is whenever you think of something new, if you think of a new business to go after, a new career goal to go after, look at that and make sure it's in alignment. And if it is, then you do it. If it's not, then you need to reevaluate. But it's just a really simple tool to use to keep in your pocket to bring out when big decisions come about and you're kind of figuring out, okay, what road should I be taking now for my direction of my life?
Thank you for explaining that. And is that part of your Limitless project?
It is, yeah. So it's, again, all of this is very simple. And I'm all about, let's keep it simple. It doesn't have to be that hard. You don't need to know the science behind the brain science and neuroplasticity. You don't need to know that. You just need to know the key elements to transform your world to be how you want it to be. That's the key. How do you want it to be? And by knowing your personal mission statement, your core values, your passions, and your zone of genius, that's going to help you create a path going towards what you want that you actually are fulfilled with. Make sense?
It makes absolute sense. Okay, I have a little clip, guys. Everything she does is so much fun. We got to share it. So here's a little clip about the Limitless project. I love the little at the end.
I can show you how to do that.
Oh, okay. I'm excited. That is fun. And so, you had that wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us have been there. Anybody that's lived more than a couple days, wink, wink, kind of can relate to, and I do believe that life has this beautiful opportunity for us to keep growing. And as we keep growing and experiencing life, we're sometimes going to have those moments where it's like, this was serving me during this season. Now, oh, I have a new season that's presenting itself. Maybe I want to explore something. It might be that this season was totally in alignment, was perfect for that period of time. Yet now, expansion, maybe some type of change, maybe something in the personal life has changed, so an opportunity now maybe is available that wasn't there before, whatever it may be. And so when you woke up, you had your moment in time. And I have to say that as I was even exploring, because I do remember some of this from when I first met you and hearing your story and everything, yet I was so impressed and still continue to be, because so many people will say, how is it that you had a business together, a family together? You then decide this business isn't necessarily what you want to be doing, yet it is a family business. The family business continues, and you go off and then go and find what it's in your core value, something that it's going to work for you, and you stay married.
We've been together for almost 30 years. Yeah, it's a work in progress all the time, but it's those core values. You just stay true to that. It's not that hard. I want to highlight you with what you're talking about right now, Tamara, but I think it's important to bring up these, the people watching know you. And what you have done in this period of your life is you were dealt the C card, you had cancer. And what you chose to do, some people get this horrible diagnosis and go and hide, and they're fearful. You embraced it. You've embraced it like no one I've seen before. Now you have this show. You've created this whole presence. You're helping so many people, but that's what you did. And so I'm guessing it's completely in alignment with you, and you feel extremely fulfilled, and it shows to those who need to hear your message. That's what we're talking about here. And figuring out, you talked about periods in our life. Yes, things change over time, but it's a way that you choose. It's always your choice. That's something to remember, how you choose to respond to something. So you chose to look cancer right in the face and say, you know what, cancer, I got this. And you did. And I think also it helps with your healing too. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning it. And in fact, those of you that we have, and I want to welcome all of those on all the different platforms that are finding this show. I want to thank you for becoming, inspired viewers and enjoying finding these amazing people that are inspiring you. And I want to say thank you for that. And for those of you that are just finding us right now, what Midori is talking about, I'm going to share a quick clip about the organization that I am the president and co-founder of, and that, if you will, I always am saying that all roads lead back to, because I do believe that this is the mission and why it is that I am alive. And we are kicking cancer to the curb, guys. And here we go.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a Buddies Network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Oh, I have chills from that. But everyone who has cancer would so benefit by knowing there's an organization like that and you've dedicated your life to it. And it's amazing to watch it flourish.
Thank you. And you have, that's what's so exciting about meeting people at events. When life opens up again, I can't wait to get back out there and meet people face to face. However, we have this platform, everyone. Right now, we are meeting all of you. And thank you for bringing this up, Midori, because on Sunday we just did a tribute, and it's really interesting that we can go into this, and that is we did a tribute for Frank Shankwitz, the Wish Man, and he is the man that was the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he ended up becoming one of my advisors. And so, his passing, of course, hit many of us hard because we weren't really expecting it. However, the message here, and he was one that, get back up on the horse, get going, a man that always had a hat on, a cowboy hat. And many people know the Wish Man. And if you don't, go check out the movie. It's on Netflix. Wish Man. It's an easy movie to remember the name. And you'll be impressed in the fact that we all have those life stories. We have life stories that bring us in core, and when we can get in that core place, we can get in alignment like what you're talking about. Frank found his alignment. He found what he loved to do. He was a motorcycle cop that ended up becoming a detective and doing all of that. Yet in that experience, he was able to grant a wish for one child that wanted to be a CHIPS officer, because they had that show back in the early 80s, CHIPS. And he was able to help this child in the movie, Michael, yet his real name was Chris, to be a motorcycle cop, actually had become an actual officer. It was the very first wish ever granted. And from that, a whole worldwide movement was created. What we're doing here, and anybody that's watching this show here at the beginning of 2021, is anybody can follow what that alignment is, and these stories that inspire the Midori. I want to say it right, and I'm questioning myself now. And the Franks, and in truth, the Tamaras, whoever it may be that's out there that has inspiring stories, we ourselves can either, it can be ourselves, it can be our family, it can be our community, it can be the world. There's no limits on what it is, that whatever we're finding our core value is, once we're in alignment with it, anything is possible, correct?
It's so true. And what studies show, I study everything business because that's just, I love it. I'm excited by that. But it can be for a nonprofit, it can be for anything. But when you have a passion that you're clear on, like what you're talking about, and it's also one of your core values, and that's instituted into your organization, when you hit those challenges, and I know, Tamara, there had to be a lot of challenges in what you're doing. And in business, we know there's a ton of obstacles. There always will be. There's no way to avoid it. Right. But when it's something that's in alignment with who you are, it makes it a lot easier to push through those challenges and also a lot quicker to get through them. So that's why it's so important.
And you know what? Guys, I'm going on public record here. We all need to hear these inspiring stories. I needed to hear that from you today. I did. We all have our moments. We all have our moments that when, and especially when we're digging, if we're being honest with ourselves and we're digging and digging, and we're looking at what is it that, you know, okay, what is my intention word this year? What does my vision board look like? What is it that it is for the nonprofit, for this community that we're building globally? What is it that is the next step? And each time, like you're saying, because a nonprofit is a business, it just has different tax breaks, yet you need to be able to run it as a business and build in a, you know, build with others that see it and are in alignment too. And so it gives you a little bit of a different twist, yet it's still a business. And what you just shared right now, I know not only myself, I'm sure there are many that needed to hear this, because yes, there's going to be those obstacles. Yes, each time you get to that next stage in that business growth, as you're going up that business curve, and then you finally hit, you know, truck, I think I can. And then you hit momentum, you know, whoop, then you see, and then you get up there at the, you know, plateau again. And that's when people are like, oh, that happened so fast. Wow, you're so big. That happened fast. And you're like,
if you only knew.
Right.
Right. But it's true. But I can't imagine how many hurdles you had to jump through, how many challenges that came forward. Having a show like this, just so you all know, if you haven't done a show, it is not easy. The tech part that goes into this, and, you know, thank God for Carol, we said this before, but you need to have these things, and coming up with all parts of it and getting it out there is a challenge. And so there's just a lot to it. But when you have that passion, when it's part of your core values, there's something that pulls you forward. You know, when you want to throw in the towel, there's something that pulls you forward and says, nope, let's go. And you can start thinking bigger, and you can start taking bigger steps, and you can start achieving more.
I love it. And okay, so we did talk about the day or the event we first met, and then we continued to see each other after that. And that was, you were one of the speakers, one of the keynote speakers at a big event in Orange County that, I mean, people from all over came to. I mean, it was huge. And this was one of the things, we have different things that we have to overcome within ourselves. You actually overcame something here, didn't you?
I did. I had I still do, a huge fear of speaking on stage. And so so what happened, you showed the book that I wrote. I wrote that book a number of years ago. And then I happened to be working with the women from California Women's Conference, which at that time was quite a big deal. And this other woman reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to speak on our stage in 9 months from now about your book? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, sure, I would love to. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, holy good God, how am I going to do that? I have stage fright, big time. I forget what I'm saying. I get totally locked up and, you know, everything else. But I said yes. And so at that point, luckily, I was far enough along in my personal development and learning about neuroscience and positive affirmations that I was able to work for those 9 months on helping me overcome the stage fright. And I was able to do my presentation. The one that you saw was my second presentation, and that was to a much more vast audience than my first one.
It was huge. It was a big Orange County event, guys. You know, Irvine right there near the airport. People flew in from all over, and it was packed.
And the caliber of people there were pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I was allowed to speak on the stage, you know, so anyway.
It was huge. Yeah.
The fact that I could overcome stage fright and become comfortable enough to do a presentation, remember what I was saying, not run off, not start crying, and get up there. And since then, I've done more. I want to be, one of my goals, and I talk about stretchy goals a lot in my programs. One of my big fat goals is to become an impactful speaker, meaning that when I get up and speak, I have that 1-2 punch where you're like, oh, I get it. I get that I have the control to change my life and transform my world and actually live a fulfilling, happy, fantastic life that I designed. To me, it's too important for that message to get out there for me to be limited by my belief of I'm scared to be on stage. And so that now has taken over my fear. And so I'm working more on becoming a more impactful presenter. And that's just one of those big, there's a book out there that talks about big, hairy ass goals, something like that.
Yeah. Well, and also, Dr. Don McGrath, he was one of the speakers at that event too. And he actually talked about that big, audacious, the big monster goal kind of stuff. You know, there's a certain phrase, and Terry, no limits. Yes. Hashtag no limits.
Yes.
I want to tell you this because what was it, like 3 years ago or something? I'm trying to remember exactly when that event was. It still stays with me, your talk. So even though it was maybe your second one, you still achieved it in your second one, where someone in the audience remembers and remembered you enough to say, you know, I sought you out. I wanted to meet you after you were up on that stage. I wanted to know you. And that is what, you know, happens when you're touched by someone, that they motivate you, they draw you in, and you want to follow them, you want to know them. And that's what you did for me. I'll never forget that, because I was so impressed with the idea of your book and what you were doing, and on and on. And then, you know, following you and seeing what is happening with, as you've been building this amazing message that's out there, empowering others now, inspiring others that they can go and do it too, and overcome whatever it is that's blocking them, that's that resistance that they are finding within themselves, like you said, that in their bodies, to be able to say, you know, okay, I figured this out. Mindset. I now can do this. I want this in my life. And those business professionals right now, so many are struggling, because if they had clients that came into them, if they had any kind of a retail center, if they had anything, where now, you know, they've been closed down, they've been open, they've been partitioned out, they've been, you know, this and that, and it's been an ever moving target. And these business people are like, you know, some of them are at a point where they're struggling.
Yeah. Can I hit on that for a second? Because I think it's
I really want to. Yes, I really do want to.
So I have a number of businesses. I don't just have one. I have a number of businesses. And, you know, some of them have done better through this COVID. But what I want to state to anyone who's in that place of fear with your business or your company or your organization is reframe your mindset, because that fear will hold you back. And what happens is when we focus in one area, we invite more of that. So if we're fearful, oh my gosh, I didn't get the PPP. I didn't get the government subsidy that was supposed to come that I was counting on. I didn't get it. Oh my gosh. If you stay there, you're going to stay stuck, and you're going to keep on having bad things happen to you. However, if you choose to start reframing the way that you look at challenges and see it as just a challenge. Like what you showed earlier, Tamara, if you're coming on later, go back and watch the beginning where I take you through a really simple exercise to identify the challenge, but then also how to overcome it. Those simple things will open up doors. So let me just give a solid example for you. So when we first went into COVID, our primary business that brings in the majority of our finances, and it pays for we have a couple different properties and other things. We really rely on that money. It dried up. We were, instead of bringing money in, we thought it was going to be the best year ever. We were writing checks back to clients, tens of thousands of dollars, all of a sudden overnight.
Right.
My husband almost had a nervous breakdown. Thank God I have done so much work that I have done. However, if we had stayed in that zone of, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? This is the worst case ever. We would have stayed stuck. Instead, we were able to look at it from a different lens, and we found new opportunities, and we had a fantastic year. On top of that, I was able to start a whole new company that will supersede the company that we already have. And it's bringing value to all these people, because I see a big problem with businesses where people get stuck and they're scared and they're not accomplishing, they're not getting their messages out. So I've taken that and I've from another company. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that all it is reframing the way that you look at things.
Right.
Instead of focusing on the fear. And I think that's something that I want so many people to hear, because once you feel that you have the control, you take back your power, and that's where you can make all the changes.
Exactly. That is why I'm so glad you're here. And we've gotten to this point because I really want people to hear what you just shared. This is an opportunity unlike any other time. When you look at it in those ways, how within alignment, again, with core values, and how is it that I'm going to love what I'm doing, and then opening up those opportunities and possibilities and putting that energy there rather than over in the other area. Like I'm at a point where I just won't even go to certain places. It's like, okay, didn't happen, whatever it may be. I'm not going to worry about it, because if I worry about that, I can't be over here taking care of this. And it's much more fun. The energy is so much better, and you're actually accomplishing so much more. And that is where, when the Service Hero Show started this whole intention project, it was to start sharing with people that what we put into our intention, when we verbalize it, when we see it, when we do the vision boards, when we do all of this work, when we do the exercise, like you said, then the world, the universe, whatever you want to believe in, somehow provides a way for this to happen. And when you start to see the magic in that, some people are like hocus pocus or woo woo or anything. Yet it's business. It can be a business practice, because when you are aligning yourself with your business principles, when you find something that is in need, supply and demand, when you have all of these things in alignment and you have an audience that is ready and needs you, and you show up, right?
Yeah. It's so true. So if you stay in the fear, you're missing all those opportunities.
Exactly.
And then when you switch, thank you, Terry Lynn.
Love Terry Lynn Phillips.
Yeah, this is something that everyone can have. This is not something that you have to go and seek out. This is something that we all can have intrinsically once you learn the tools to do it. But that's why I wanted to make that point of, when you stay in the fear, you're going to invite more fear. When you stay in the positivity and you're looking for opportunities, maybe you're fantastic. For you, Tamara, you are fantastic at networking. You're fantastic at speaking. That's a natural gift of yours. That's your zone of genius. However, you may not be as good at organizational aspect. I do study this, so I know some of these things. So it's not that I'm mind reading, I just know some of these things. And so you look for these opportunities where you're like, okay, I have this great concept. Who can I bring in that will add value, who's in alignment with me, and we can go kick ass. So, just opening those opportunities, and it can just be amazing.
I absolutely love. And Carol has a question. Have you figured out your intention for 2021, and would you like to share it?
Yeah. So I talked a little bit about this, is that I started a new business. It's launching in March, and I did exactly what we're talking about. So I was looking around like, what am I going to do? Well, I know there's a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs and leaders that are suffering right now. Yeah. And I know how to push through that. And I partnered with another woman who I have met through, in fact, you talked about Shannon Shores in the very beginning you showed my clip of a show that I did with Shannon Shores, who was an Inc. Yes. She's now since sold her company, but in the Inc. 5000, her business mentor is my business partner. And And so we are launching a new program for people who want to excel. And it's all about accountability and setting big, fat goals. We call them OKRs, which is what Google and Intuit and the Bono organization, what they use, and helping people really support one another and create massive, massive movement in their businesses. And so that's what we're doing. But that's my intention, is to focus there.
I love it. I cannot wait to find out more when you launch. That is so exciting. Midori, everyone here at the Service Heroes Show, I want to say, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that we would make a case that Midori Verity is a service hero. And I believe that we have done it. And I believe that all of you will concur that indeed Midori is out there making a difference in our world. She is serving others with her skills and her abilities and showing up to help others to do the same, because that's what it is all about, is when we all show up and we show up with our core values, when we show up to serve others, we can make a difference throughout this world. And Midori, thank you for being the service hero that you are.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me experience all this. But no, this has been a delight.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I hope that you feel honored, because truly you are a service hero. Everyone, we want to say thank you for being here and watch and replay. Go and please support all of what Midori is doing, and also share this out with others. Support us on YouTube and on the social medias platforms. Appreciate you all. And indeed, she is. Yes, yes. Thank you so very much for being here, everyone. We will be back on Friday. And on Friday, our service hero, Brian K. Wright. You guys are going to want to watch this one. If you've ever wondered about magazines, digital magazines, and how they are successful, we're going to be sharing how Brian is making a difference and is a service hero on Friday's show. See you all then. Bye, everyone.